Hello there, everybody. I'm just coming on quick because I want to give everybody a health update, and it has been a bit of an eventful few months. So I just wanted to bring you up to speed and let you know what I've been going through and what it means for us going forward. So a few months ago, I was experiencing some symptoms that I felt needed to be addressed. I admittedly let them go on way longer than I should have, but I don't run to doctors or anything for every little thing. And after a few different tests and procedures, I was told that I had cancer in my uterus, and then I was scheduled with an oncologist in Kingston. So I had my initial consult with this doctor who I really liked, and I really respect him, and he was really good with me, and it wasn't always easy for him because I'm not always the most compliant. Shocker, I know. So, long story short, October 3rd, I had a total hysterectomy. It was able to be done laparoscopically, which is a really good thing, apparently, much easier to recover from. My recovery was quite amazing. We left Kingston at midnight on the Thursday night, and I took my pain medication on Friday and Saturday morning, and I haven't taken any since. So I followed, the instructions for 6 weeks. You're not supposed to lift anything over 15 pounds. I might have had a couple slips, but I tried hard. And I just had another appointment with him. I forget when it was, about a month ago, I guess, and follow up after my surgery. And he said I did great. They got all the cancer, and he was really pleased with my recovery. What he also said was the recommended standard of treatment for the type of cancer I had at the stage it was is 5 weeks of radiation, 5 days a week for 5 weeks. So that caught me off guard, I'm not going to lie. And my immediate reaction is like, back up, like, no, we're not doing this. But I'm learning to respond, not react. And I did voice my concerns, but he asked if I would be agreeable to have a consult with a radiation oncologist. So I felt I needed to do my due diligence and at least make a really informed decision. And who better to get the information from than somebody that this is their area of expertise. So I don't know what this camera is doing. Lock, focus. Anyway, sorry if it goes in and out. So I had that appointment last week, and she was very good with me. She was so thorough. She gave me all the things that I needed to know, explaining exactly what my surgery had entailed, because I didn't really know what all was removed, what was left. I listened, and I'm telling you, I never felt rushed once. I can't tell you how amazing both those doctors have been with me. And she, gave it all, put it all out on the table, and explained to me that this is all for preventative measures. It's to prevent a reoccurrence, and that I had a 20% chance of reoccurrence without treatment, and a 10% chance of reoccurrence if I followed this treatment. And of course, they can't guarantee those numbers. It's just kind of statistics. So I listened carefully and thoroughly, and I asked numerous questions. And at the end, she asked me, she said, do you have any idea? I know you can't make a decision right now. I want you to take a few days. I said I needed to talk to my family. I needed to think about it, because no matter how prepared I thought I was overwhelmed. I'm not going to lie. I was overwhelmed, and so many emotions and feelings and questions and all the things. So I wanted to make sure I took the time. I was not making snap decisions either way. And so she agreed and said, but do you have an idea of what you were going to decide? And I said, yes. Like, honestly, my gut feeling right now is I'm not going to do this. So I came home. I talked to a few of my kids, and I didn't talk to them all because we talked about it already before. And ultimately, the decision is mine. And their biggest resounding answer was, we will support you in whatever you want to do. And I had to ask myself some questions, because I'll just say that, like, this is not a small thing as far as like cost even, and time and travel. Kingston, or where I'd have to go, it takes us an hour and a half to get there and an hour and a half to get home. It takes at least half an hour to find a parking spot. And so that's gas there and back. That's that much time every day. There's at least 3.5 hours each day, 5 days a week for 5 weeks. And that involves cost. Gas is not cheap. And apparently they do have some arrangement with a hotel in Kingston that people can get a reduced rate. He didn't know what that was. She didn't know what that was. But either way, it's going to cost money. It's not coming free. Nobody's going to cover this. This has to come out of our pocket. And the chances are that Glenn may have to drive me at least some of those days. I don't know. I don't know how you feel when you take these treatments. And then I had to ask myself, okay, if all that was removed, would I do this? And the answer was probably not. There are risks, as with anything, and just the treatment alone, there's 2 parts to it. The external radiation and the last 3 treatments are an internal radiation. And I'm not going to explain that. You can figure that one out. And some of the side effects of that are you can experience bowel and bladder issues, usually more frequency, unable to control, that kind of thing. And typically, those symptoms resolve in 4 to 6 weeks after treatment. And then the internal treatments, I'm also going to let you, if you want to explore that, I'm not going to explain the side effects that come with that. They do involve scar tissue, and it is pretty much a given. There's no 20% chance, it's 100. So for those reasons, I also thought, even if money wasn't an issue, if travel, if I could teleport there, if this was easy peasy, carefree, I wouldn't do it because of the side effects, the potential side effects, and there's no guarantee of resolution. And to me, it's just not worth it to subject myself to all that and the potential for the things that are potential in side effects for something that could never happen. Yeah, I've got a 20% chance of reoccurrence. I've got an 80% chance that it won't. And having the treatment didn't increase my chances of not reoccurring by very much. Not enough, in my opinion. For me, this is my decision. This is not, I would never tell anybody else what to do. Everybody needs to make the decision that they are able and comfortable, at peace with living with afterward. And that's what I had to do. Again, I'm not a doctor. I have no medical training, and I am not telling anybody else what they should do. I wrestled with this decision. I don't make decisions lightly. And if it's the wrong one, oh well, I will live with that and deal with that. There were risks either way. And so I have chosen the risks that I am willing to make. That might not be the same for somebody else. So again, please hear me. If you find yourself in my position and having to make these choices, please make the choices that are right for you. This is all I'm only making choices for me. There is no right or wrong. So I'm going to end there. That's my health update. This is where I am. I go back to work next week. My focus is going to be on how I want to live and focusing on my life and how I want to spend it, how present I want to be in it, the way it is right here, right now, in these circumstances, in this situation, and whatever else comes my way. I want to focus on how I'm going to live. So I've made some changes. I have radically changed my diet. As you will have heard in my last video, I've gone to a whole food, plant-based way of eating. And again, I'm not telling anybody else what to do. I have no judgment at all. However you want to eat is absolutely none of my business, and I really don't care. So I don't want anybody to think that I am pushing anything on anybody. I'm not. I'm just telling you what I'm doing, the conclusions I've come to for myself, and how I want to implement them going forward. So I'm doing a whole food, plant-based diet. I don't hit the mark every time, but I have come a long way. So I basically, even in things that are not meat, dairy, eggs, fish, cheese, like that kind of stuff, even if they're plants, I try not to eat much that's overly processed. So flours, I am still eating like bread and a few things, but I try to keep that to a minimum. The goal for me is to consume as much in its natural whole food state as possible, with a focus on consuming a lot of fruit and veggies. I find I have to be intentional in getting a good, healthy, like abundant amount of vegetables into my diet, and a variety of vegetables. So most of my recipes going forward are probably going to be made up, most if not all, from a whole food, plant-based perspective. So just because you're not planning on doing a whole food, plant-based way of eating doesn't mean that these recipes won't be of interest to you. It can be very exciting. And so even if you're not going to be whole food, plant-based, if you still want to eat meat, cheese, eggs, dairy, all the things, that's fine. But you could also have some of these as side dishes, or maybe have meatless Mondays and just things like that. So don't shy away from the channel, because this is going to be my focus. But I debated what to do with the recipes that I already have. And I've decided to leave them because you may still want some of those. I still make those recipes for my family. I'm not forcing this on them. I often make 2 different meals. If what they're having isn't conducive, then I'll make something else for myself. So I'm still cooking for my family the way I always have, trying to be frugal, trying to be, use healthy ingredients and stuff. I don't like processed foods. I don't like boxed meals. I don't like all that stuff. That's what this channel's always been about, is trying to eat wholesome ingredients in a frugal way. And so that's still going to be it, but it's going to have this slant now as well. So I hope you stick with me. I do want to keep, I meant to get my blog going while I was off, but you wouldn't believe how quickly this time has gone. I don't even know what I've done, but none of what I had thought I'd get done has been done. But anyway, that's whatever. It'll get done eventually. But I do want to focus on my blog. I do want to get that going for all the reasons that I listed in my previous video, which I will link down below. Just in many ways, it is easier to do because right now I'm alone here, but that's kind of a rare occurrence. So anyway, that's where I'm at. That's what's happening. That's what I've been through. That's what I've been doing. And these are the decisions I've made and why I've made them. Anyway, that's my update. this is kind of what we're going to see going forward with the whole food, plant-based way of eating. I have already been experimenting incredibly. I've made a boursin cheese, a cream cheese, a sour cream. I'm making my own dairy-free yogurt. Anyway, just a lot of things. So I've been experimenting lots. And so I want to take you on this ride with me. I hope that you'll find it as exciting or even a little bit of as much exciting as I have. I have loved it. It has been a wonderful experience for me, and I feel really good about where I'm at and where I'm going. And I hope you'll join with me. And thank you again just for hanging out with me today. We'll see you soon.